Today, we want to talk about the types of formal letters. So make sure that you watch this lesson till the end and learn beautiful ideas that will help you to write successful formal letters. The formal letters include the complaint letter, the request letter, the application letter, the appreciation letter, the letter to the editor, and many others. You write a complaint letter when you are not satisfied with the service you get from a certain place. For instance, if you ordered textbooks from a bookshop in your town, and when the textbooks arrived, they were not enough, you are likely to write a complaint letter to the bookshop that you bought from to explain how disappointed you are about what you have received. So you are writing a complaint letter. If there is an outbreak of a deadly disease in your community, you can write to the Ministry of Health to send you some health officials to come and assist in your area. So that is a request letter. You can also write an application letter to a certain shop in your area so that you get a part-time job which is advertised in the local newspaper. So you are writing an application letter. If you are a principal of a certain school and the Ministry of Education decides to build a huge library at your school with every relevant book that is needed by the learners, then you can write a letter of appreciation to the ministry just to state how thankful you are. When you read an article in a newspaper that you do not agree to, you may want to write a letter to the editor to give the correct information about the topic you are disagreeing in the newspaper you just read. So that is a letter to the editor. So you see, we have so many different kinds of formal letters. And now we are going to look at the rules guiding us on how to write these types of letters. Formal letters have their own rules that we need to follow. You do not just write like that. The rules entails that you go straight to the point. In your introduction, you state what you are writing for. We do not greet here. How are you, boss? How are your children? How is your wife doing? I miss you. No, we don't do that because this is not a friendly letter. So if you are writing to request, go straight to the point. I am kindly requesting you, or I am writing to request. Then you put your point. Spell words correctly. Use a polite tone. Do not be rude. Do not insult people. And please do not show your arrogance. No matter how disappointed you are, you have to be as formal and polite as possible. So even if you bought a new trouser, then when you get home, you realize that the trouser is so tattered and torn and old, you do not write back to the shop to insult people. You cannot, for instance, say, "Why on earth did you pack an old and tattered trouser for me? Did I use your money? What kind of nonsense is this?" You see, you have to be polite. I am writing to express my sadness or my disappointment about the trouser I bought from your shop. It sounds so polite. You must use punctuations correctly. Be wise on tenses. If you are complaining about something that has happened already, then you have to make use of past tense. You must not confuse the reader or the person you are writing to, because now if you start talking in future tense, then the reader will be so confused and he may not even adhere to what you are trying to tell him. "I will buy the trouser from your shop yesterday." Avoid broken English. "I was bought a trouser." Please improve your tenses and try to write as beautiful as you can. No double punctuation. For instance, do not use double exclamation because some of those things may send the wrong message. In this case, with a double exclamation, you might show that you are very angry and very impatient. So try to be as clever as you can. Use a formal. Formal means official. An official register, a formal register, a register is just the tone of your voice, your vocabulary. So, for instance, you can say, I am writing to express, to complain, to inquire, or to inform you about. Then you put your idea. Please do not use slang. Slang is that funny language that you use with your friends, or jargon. Jargon is a certain of language that is just understood by a certain class of people. For instance, in education, CA may be associated with marks, but CA at a hospital in medical terms, it may mean cancer. So, do not use the language that is not formal. Cover the prompts or the guides if you are provided with any. Respect the format. We are going to look into the format. You don't need to be scared. You are with me today. And be aware of your closing remark. Your closing remarks should be in relation to what you wrote in the letter. For instance, if you're complaining, you can say, I'll be glad to see future changes to avoid similar inconveniences. Politely, you cannot say, now I want my refund because my money, I work for my money, now you are giving me wrong things. You see, it doesn't sound proper. If you really wish to have refund, you would say it politely. I would like to have the refund, or I would like to have the item replaced. You see, it makes life easy when we are all polite to one another. Now let's look at the format of a formal letter. The formal letter should include the writer's address. That is you, because you are the writer, and it has to be together with the date. After that, you write the receiver's address. Whom are you writing to? We need that address. Then the salutation or greeting. This is simply dear sir or madam. You may also need to state your subject, the main point or why you are writing this letter. Some people start with complaint on what, or subject, then you put the topic. If you write the topic in small letters, just underline it. If you write it in capital letters, there's no need for you to underline it. Then we move on to the introduction, where you go straight to the point. Then you have the body, where you answer the guides or where you give your main ideas if you are not given prompts. Then your conclusion. Your conclusion is normally just the closing remarks. I'll be waiting to hear from you soon. I'll be happy if you kindly consider my application. It depends with what you are writing about. Then you have yours faithfully, the commonly used one, your signature, and the writer's name. Or yours sincerely, your signature, and the writer's name. That's so clear, very clear. Now let's put it. This is the format of a formal letter. In the right-hand corner there, you find the sender's address. Who is the sender? It's you, the writer, and it's together with the date immediately below your address. On the left below, I have the receiver's address. Whom am I writing to? So I'll put the address there. Followed by my greetings. Greetings, just a salutation. Dear sir or madam. Then I'll have a subject. When you tell us what you are writing for or what you're writing about, then you go to the introduction, when you go straight to the point. Do not forget to write your body so correctly and creatively. If you are given guides or prompts, write each guide per own paragraph. When you are done, move on to the conclusion. I told you the conclusion are just the closing remarks. You then go to the final or last salutation, whereby you have yours faithfully or yours sincerely, and it's together with your signature and your correct name. Hang in there, do not give up yet, because I'm going to give you an example of a formal letter, and we are going to look at a complaint letter. As you can see, my name is Abiatal, and I am putting my address in the right hand corner, and I haven't forgotten to include the date that I am writing this letter. After that, I'll leave an empty space. The green line is to show you that there's an empty space there. Then I'll go to the left and put the receiver's address down there. For instance, I'm writing to Malunga's restaurant. So I've started by the manager, Malunga restaurant in Klein Windhoek. I'm a good learner. I'll omit a line. Then I'll go to my salutation. Dear sir or madam. I'll omit a line. Then I'll go to the subject. And my subject is complaint on poor service. The subject is so important. It gives the manager a hint on what the letter is going to be about. Then my introduction follows down there after I've omitted the line, and I'm saying, I am writing to complain about the meal we had at your restaurant yesterday. I am not mentally disturbed. I did not start by saying, hey, how can you sell rotten food to us? You are wasting money. You know that money is hard to get. No, I wrote so politely. I am writing to complain about the meal we had at your restaurant yesterday. I will then move on to the body where I'll give details. But I'm a good learner. I have to omit a line so that my ideas are into paragraphs. I move on to the next paragraph and I'm saying, we had booked for a table of 6. When we arrived, there was no space available. We had to wait for more than 30 minutes to sit down. You see, this is not good. I'm not happy about it. But I am not insulting. I am not showing my arrogance, but I'm writing politely. I am not done with my complaint. There's another thing that made me angry or dissatisfied. In the next paragraph, after I've omitted a line, I'm saying, we ordered for a beef steak. To my surprise, it tasted awful and had gone bad. The waiter was rude and defensive when we notified him. So this is another thing that made me to complain. But I'm not insulting because I know the rules. So what do I want to be done? In my closing remark, I'm saying, I am not requesting for a refund, but would like you to improve the quality of your dishes. A dish is the food, it's referring to the food that is found there. I'm not talking about DSTV dish. Hey, come on, I'm not talking about the bathing dish. I'm talking about dishes in terms of food, the type of food being sold there. So I'm saying, I am not requesting for a refund, but would like you to improve the quality of your dishes and service. Then I move on to the final salutation. And I'm saying, yours faithfully, after omitting the line there, yours faithfully. I put my signature there and my full name, which is Abiatal PM. Why am I using yours faithfully? This is because initially in the first salutation or greeting I said, dear sir or madam, meaning that I do not know if I'm writing to a man or to a woman. So I'll end by yours faithfully. Had I started with dear sir, meaning that I know that I'm writing to a man, or had I started by dear madam or dear Miss Malunga, then that already would have indicated that I know the person or the manager that I'm writing to. So in that case, I would end by yours sincerely, my signature, and my full name. I know that you understand, and I'm happy because you have understood. Now I want you to write a beautiful piece of formal letter on this topic, saying you just noticed that most of the teenagers in your neighborhood are abusing drugs and alcohol. Write to the Office of Gender and Teens Welfare to request for a counselor. But I'm not selfish and I do not want you to fail, so I've given you the guides or the prompts, and I'm saying you should include what exactly is happening, where, in your area, obviously, in your neighborhood, why you think counseling is needed, and what might happen if the teens are not counseled. Write 100 to 150 words, then you see how much you'll score in this. Thank you so much for paying attention. See you in the next lesson. Have a good day. Bye-bye.